Hey everyone, it's Lucy from KBeautyHobbit.com. Welcome to my channel. I do a ton of nail tutorials here. You can find everything in the nails playlist, or I also have smaller playlists by type, like the nails that are press-ons, the nails that need a lamp, the nails that don't. So if you're into nail content, please subscribe if you haven't, and definitely check out some of those playlists. Today we're going to be trying a new to me brand called Wakemake, the gel nails. This is the EasyFit type. The instructions are confusing. We're going to discuss that. But before we get started on this, please tell me what you want to see next. I have options on what to film next, and I would like your input on that. So I have the newest formula from Lid Gels, plus their super special no top coat needed builder gel. I have the Hey. They have some solid colors now, which is really cool. I have this small brand called Anjala. I'm trying my best with the pronunciation. So I have their nails. And then I have the U brand because I had very, very bad experience with the ones that they sold at Costco. And the brand told me, oh, the Costco ones are not the same as our regular ones, which is interesting. Why wouldn't you put your best ones at Costco? Really, it's huge exposure. But anyway, so they sent me this. You could try that. And then I also have these press-on nails. This is the Chill House Chill Tips. So leave me a comment, please. Which one of these do you want to see next? And I am going to try and accommodate that. So back to these guys. I got these on YesStyle. I have an affiliate reward code for the entire YesStyle website. Doesn't matter what you get on there, you can get a discount using my code KBeautyHobbit. You just enter it under rewards code, and you can still use existing coupon codes by entering that into the coupon code, so you can double up on discounts. I checked the pricing today. They are under $6. Of course, that can change. The instructions are really confusing. It says that you don't need a lamp to cure these, but then the little paper that is included here says that if you leave them exposed to sunlight, they will cure itself and become unusable. So that's a little bit strange. Anyway, well, we're gonna see if we need a lamp or not here during this process. Step one is always going to be prep. Doesn't matter if you're using press-ons, stickers, or just painting your nails. You want to prep well. I love using a cuticle pusher like this. Actually, I'm pretty sure I got this one from YesStyle. They kind of cut down on the amount of made in China products that they are shipping to the United States right now. So I don't know if you can find this exact one on YesStyle anymore, but you can find something similar on Amazon. I'll put links for everything in the description box. But I like using this to push down any sort of dead tissue here, because this cuticle end is a big kind of risk area for where you might have trouble after application. This is where you can have lifting and snagging. I do have tips for mitigating that. Check out my Ahora video with a squish light, but I showed the squish light in different videos. However, the squish light isn't going to help if you simply stick a sticker on top of skin. Nothing really is going to help that. So I like to go over and push back everything. Even if it seems like there's nothing there, I still go over those areas because sometimes things start to peel back a bit, even though they seemed clear or whatever, see-through before, and you couldn't really notice them. I would just urge you not to push too hard. Some of these tools are a bit sharp by design, especially the other end of this one. You could get into a situation where you're scraping off pieces of your nail. You don't want to do that. I like this edge though. It's pointy, it's sharp, but it's good for kind of going over the edge here and seeing if there's anything else that can come off like this. See? It's especially good if you are doing manicures for a child, because sometimes I swear they harbor like extra treasures around the edge here that are hard to get with simple hand washing. We have two included alcohol prep pads. Most brands include them. Sometimes they're not very good. If they're very dry or kind of scratchy or feel like paper, I will sometimes use the Curad ones. I get a big box, actually 2 boxes of them at Costco pretty inexpensively, and they last forever. And they have many, many applications in the household. But this one actually feels just fine. The purpose of this step is to remove any leftover grease. It also helps pick up some of that little skin dust or whatever we just scraped off. So don't skip this step. But before you even begin, before I sat down to film, I washed my hands with soap and water. I dried them really well, and I didn't put any lotions or oils or anything else on them because you want everything to just be clean and dry. It's okay to use oils and lotions after you're done with your nails. I would just suggest maybe waiting 12 hours or so. Hand washing usually is fine, but I wouldn't do like dishes without gloves on or soak in a tub with your hands fully submerged until probably the next day if you can. The ingredient instructions did mention that these can get a little bit stiff when they're cold and that letting them come to room temperature will soften them, make them more pliable. I will say they look like they're semi-cured and not fully cured. Just based on the shape, the size, these have similar vibe to them, like a Hora, a Dash and Diva glaze. When I gently push on them, and I understand it's probably very hard to see on video, but when I gently push with my nail, it leaves a dent, which tells me that they're not fully cured. So I don't know. I don't know if the idea is sort of like hey, where you can put them on and then they kind of cure eventually with the light. I don't love that. We're going to see what they do under a lamp. But here's the lineup. There are 32 pieces in here, I'm pretty sure. So typically the cuticle side will be the more narrow one. With this specific design, you can tell that easier because the flower is going to be on the bottom of the nail. Sometimes you can't tell it as easily, but it also doesn't matter all that much unless there's a specific design on which side you put to the cuticle. I like to kind of hold this to my nails and pick the size that is almost exactly the size of my nail. And if it can be exact, a little bit too narrow is better than a little bit too wide. I do like the flower designs. In general, I don't love clear see-through stickers because if you didn't do a perfectly good job, and even if you had, you can still have a little bit of lifting, just a tad around the edges, maybe not right away, but eventually lint is going to start getting there. And you would have never seen that with a solid manicure, like a non-see-through one. And you're going to see that with a clear one, and it's going to ruin your day. I lined it up with a cuticle as close as possible without overlapping, made sure it's straight. Now I'm just going to push it down with my finger or with my thumb. A lot of instructional videos will show you just using your finger. I highly recommend getting a tool like this. Some brands will send you one. Not everybody does. You can get a multi-pack of them on Amazon, and I highly suggest getting one. And this is just a rubber tip cuticle pusher. There's nothing fancy about it, but it helps to apply very precise pressure on the edges, and it helps adhering the edges to the nail. Because normally, I've had one brand in 10 years that had a chip on it. Normally, what you see as far as wear and defects and kind of undesirable things with stickers is peeling. They're either peeling at the cuticle and they're snagging your hair and that drives everybody crazy, or they're peeling at the tips. And with a clear sticker like this, you're going to see immediately if something is off because you could start getting things stuck under there and it looks horrible. You could trim these as they go. You could do all of them and then trim them. Let's just do one more. Now somebody told me the thumbs are the hardest fingers, and in my last video I tried hard to show you a thumb application, so maybe we can do a thumb one here. Thumbs are hard sizing wise, so it looks like this one, oh gosh, it's difficult. I don't want it to be too narrow, but I don't want it to be too wide. Sometimes I will take the sheet and try to curve it and kind of make it into the shape of my nail to see better how it fits. I think this one is the right one. And I think the way that the sizing here is, this size is identical to that size. So these two strips are the same sizes as each other, and then these two strips are different. So that means that on my right hand, I probably have to use this clear one on the thumb, and I don't love that, but okay. So I'm just peeling it up. If you have very long nails and you're going to need to use the entire length of the sticker, I would use tweezers to peel them up to avoid touching any of the sticky side if you need that length. I don't need that, so I'm going to just hold the tip and then I'm going to cut that part off anyway. In a lot of the videos, people ask, well, can you leave them longer than your natural nail? No. I mean, you can, but they're not designed for this. These are not designed to be nail extensions. They are adhesive all the way through. So if you leave an overhang and let's say cure it, and maybe it hardens enough to be kind of like an extension, you're still going to have to address somehow the sticky underside, and I'm not sure how you're going to address that. I would say if you want to actually extend the length of your nails and use stickers, do press-on nails first, or gel X, whatever you want to do. Get some kind of nail extension product first, then do stickers on top, or just get press-on nails that are hard that you glue on, either peel and stick like Dashing Diva Magic Press or some other brand where you have to use the glue. For the glue, I always recommend the Beauty Secrets glue. You can get it at Sally's very inexpensively, but do that instead of trying to get these to be a nail extension. Once it's on and looks good, you have to clip off the excess. And don't believe those marketing videos that show you that you can cure this first and then clip off the excess. Don't do that. If the nail stickers need curing, and I think these do, they really feel like they have to be cured. Anyway, if the nail stickers need curing and you cure them and then clip them, they're going to be hard and somewhat rigid, brittle, whatever. You're going to have most likely cracks if you try to cure them, or if you try to cut them after curing. So I just cut that off. I cut a bit of nail with it just to try to shape it a little bit. These are very long for me, my nails. So I am just taking off a bit of the length at this step. You don't have to do that, but you could also just trim them exactly or almost exactly to your nail length, cure them, and then file off any excess. But because I have so much length that I want to get rid of, I just did it here instead of having to file for half an hour. Here's the somewhat finished product, and the reason that I say that is because I'm not going to go through the final steps of this application. Let me tell you why. So first of all, these definitely need curing because after the cure, they feel nice and hard. They were easy to file. Before the cure, they were a little bit soft and gummy. I don't think you'd be able to file them very easily. Plus, touching them kind of left dents, which is all expected. It's all fine with semi-cured gel nails. I just don't know why the brand doesn't tell you to cure them. Here's another look at the instructions. Prepare, apply, cut. That's it. And then they suggest an optional top coat. So I really don't know why it's like that, but fine. Regardless of all of that, before I even started curing them, everything was lifting. It was sticking up like it just could not adhere to the nail. I think the adhesive in these is just too weak. And the stickers just try to keep their original flat shape, so they start lifting at the edges before you even cure them. To try and mitigate that, I use the squish light. If you're not familiar with this tool, I highly suggest you look into some of my other videos. I showed it in my most recent one. What did I wear? Dashing Diva Glaze, the green ones. I have a whole Ahora related video all about the squish light, but if you don't want to check those out, that's fine. This is just a little UV light with a stamp, and you can apply pressure while you're starting to cure. This is not a replacement for a full-size lamp, but it can help your sticker really adhere well to the cuticle line before you fully cure it. This will not do anything for stickers that don't need a UV light, but this is really nice for the ones that do need a UV light. So I did that. I think that this nail actually fixed, it looks fine. I did that with all the nails. But then the nail on my ring finger here, after curing, was sticking up really bad still. And when I just gently tugged on it, because I was going to go ahead and replace it, because I'm trying to get a long-lasting manicure, 11-12 days is the minimum requirement for me, but 14 is better. When I tugged it, it just came right off, which tells me that the adhesive here is absolutely no good. And normally with any brand of nail stickers, I would do a top coat here to seal the free edge at this stage before I'm fully done. But I am seeing that there are other nails here that have the same lifting issue. And a top coat is never going to help with that. The top coat helps the edges, the free edges, to stay nice and strong, but the top coat is not going to fix this problem. What will happen is something will get under there, water, skincare, whatever. The whole thing is going to just come right off. And I am seeing a similar thing right here on this fingernail as well. And all of that with me doing the squish light and doing the lamp and taking my time applying. I'm very experienced in applying these. I've been doing nail stickers of different brands for about a decade. I'm not a licensed nail tech, but I don't think this is user error. I think this is just bad adhesive. These are nice and warm. It's summer. They didn't just come in from the cold or anything like that. It's not like they're stiff due to their temperature. No, they're appropriate temperature, and I think I did a fine application. I just think this is kind of a crap product. I originally was going to keep these on for a bit, but once I stopped filming, I got ready to put everything away, and I looked at this nail one more time, and it looks horrible. Normally with a good brand, if you start having a bit of lifting, you don't want to rip the nail sticker off because usually the adhesives are nice and strong. You should follow the proper removal instructions. I have a couple of videos on my channel for that, but it is not as simple as ripping them off. You will cause damage to your natural nail. When the adhesive is crap though, it usually comes off easy. So, want to try it? I haven't even washed my hands yet. Let me get this in there. Look at that. Boop. Popped right off. And you can see that it didn't take any part of my nail with it, which is normally what you would expect if you rip off a sticker. You would lose pieces of your nail, which is why we don't rip off stickers, okay? This guy came right off. So unfortunately, this is just not a good brand. I guess the good news is it didn't damage my nails. The bad news is it's not going to last, obviously. So if I go to this other problem child here, work my tool under there, it comes right off. And this part has nothing to do with the curing, in my opinion. These adhesives are not UV cured adhesives typically. The curing is a separate part, but the fact that this adhesive is so bad, that's just, there's no saving that. There's nothing that I know of that would fix that. Short of probably gluing them back on with actual nail glue, but who wants to do that? That is not the point of these nail stickers. Buyer beware, 0 out of 10, don't recommend. Wasted time, but hopefully it was at least entertaining for you. If you have any tips, tricks, or questions, I try to get back to everybody, so don't be shy, feel free to leave a comment. You can find me on Instagram at KBeautyHobbit, my blog KBeautyHobbit.com, and in my private Facebook group, Green Beauty Fanatics. I hope to see you in my next video, and until then, have a great week. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.